Over the past years, vegetarianism and veganism have become incredibly popular. An increasing eco-conscience in the younger population have spurred this new affection for meat or even dairy-free diets. This is a counter-movement to the increasing meat consumption worldwide. Over the past 50 years, meat production has more than tripled. The world now produces more than 340 million tons each year. During this time, most countries saw an increase in meat consumption. As we become richer, meat becomes increasingly affordable and therefore is consumed more. In emerging economies, meat became increasingly accessible as more infrastructure and supply chains were created. Supermarkets, faster distribution, and better cooling technologies helped meat stay fresh and allow it to reach most parts of the countries, something that was not the case a few decades prior. But also in the US and Europe, meat consumption has increased for the longest time. But millennials and Gen Z are trying to put a stop to it, as more and more of them turn towards a vegetarian or vegan diet. The cause of this is plentyfold. The two most important ones is the well-being of these animals, as well as the immense environmental impact that meat is having. So, welcome to Rebel Economics and today's episode where we will be looking at the market of meat alternatives. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. I know everyone always says so, but it really does mean a lot to us content creators. But now, let's look more closely at the reasons why the meat market is so bad for animals and the environment, and the increased awareness that the younger generations have for this issue. For one, documentaries about meat production, like Cowspiracy or Food Inc., have made the population more aware of the ills of the sector. The inhumane form of killing male baby chickens has been at the height of controversy, but also in regards to nearly all livestock and the conditions under which they are kept have been strongly criticized. Many animals are held with far too little space, on occasion literally stepping on each other and killing fellow animals because there's simply no other space to be, no access to the outdoors, being fed growth hormones and being bred in unhealthy ways, simply so that the animals have more meat on their bones. That is one part of the argument, the protection of animals. But the second core argument is regarding the sustainability of meat. Meat requires an immense amount of resources, from the agricultural space to the water and grain consumption. For example, for only 1 kilogram of beef to be produced, you need a total of 25 kilograms of feed. This is the most food-intense meat of them all. But even poultry, which when considering feed, space, and water is one of the most efficient ones, it still only reaches a 1-to-3 ratio. And it is not only the resources that go in, but the questions of how they are converted. Meat is especially consumed for its protein. Beef not only requires a whole lot of feed, but is also a terrible protein converter, with only 3.8% of the protein from the feed actually being transformed into animal-based protein. On the very top of the chart, we see milk and eggs, so products that vegetarians can eat. Their production is far more efficient than when it comes to meat. And with all that being said, this does not yet take the greenhouse gas emissions into consideration. Not just from producing all that grain, but cows' farts are notoriously known for their methane emissions. A Guardian article states that meat accounts for nearly 60% of all greenhouse gases from food production. It causes double the pollution as the production of plant-based foods does. A single kilo of beef creates 70 kilograms of emissions. So you can see, beef, apart from the taste, just really isn't worth it. So no wonder then that meat alternatives have emerged in what was essentially a vacuum in the market. While for the longest time, meat alternatives like veggie burgers literally meant some type of patty that doesn't resemble anything like meat were the standard, this has changed dramatically over the past few years. With more people seeking meat-like alternatives, a sector creating products that have the texture and taste of meat, while being made of plant-based products, has emerged. The main people who are moving to a meatless diet are younger people in Western countries. information from Statista shows that while the amount of vegetarians between 18 to 24 years of age has significantly decreased in some Asian countries like India and China, in Europe and the USA, they show a gradual increase in vegetarianism. These are the core demographic who meat substitute brands cater to. One of the most well-known ones is Beyond Meat. They advertise their foods as delivering the meaty plant-based better-for-you meals you crave without there being any meat in the products. With the first products on the market in 2012, it showed immense growth and continues to do so. I'm never the one aware of the newest trends, but by 2019, even I had heard of them as a company that gets incredibly close to making plant-based burger patties that actually taste like meat. They got rave reviews, and their revenue reflects that. It nearly tripled from 2018 to 2019, going from $88 million to $298 million. And by 2021, they achieved a revenue of over $460 million. They had the incredible benefit of entering the meat substitute market quite early, before the big run began. Here we see exactly the scenery described in our video, Why Can Established Companies Not Innovate? Where the market is a vast field covered by some thick black fog, and every successfully developed product or service stands as a burning candle or torch that extinguishes the dark, revealing a mountain of gold. Well, Beyond Meat was one of those innovators that discovered a mountain of gold in the darkness of the market and attracted competitors to its mountain like moth to a flame. With more and more alternatives flooding the market, the growth of Beyond Meat has slowed down significantly over the past 2 years. Meat alternatives are carving out a special part of the food sector for themselves. And experts suggest that this is not just a momentary development, but this is a trajectory that we will see grow for the next decade. Projections from Statista say that compared to 2020, the market will grow 5.5 times its size in only 10 years. As the quality of these alternatives improve and accessibility is simplified, more people choose to try them. I can speak for myself and my family that this is the fact. With those products appearing in supermarkets, they become increasingly present to regular consumers who would not go out of their way to get non-meat products. But I've definitely picked up some items that promise a healthier meat-like experience just because I saw it stocked in the supermarket on my weekly shopping. The meat substitute market is definitely becoming increasingly relevant, and it sprouts promises of being better for the environment and climate, being a healthier alternative for meat, not taking part in the suffering of animals. And while in many ways that is true, that is only one side of the coin. One of the most popular plants to create meat alternatives is soy. It is what tofu and tempeh are made out of. It is also a plant that is surrounded by a lot of controversy. Soy is linked to deforestation, similar to palm oil for example, and therefore disliked for the effect it is having on the environment, as the rainforest is being chopped off to make room for more soy plantations. With that, many animals also lose their living space, causing them to retreat into the forest if they are lucky, or to simply die with the rainforest. So you may ask, is the rise of meat substitutes really such a good thing then? Well, yes, it is. Because while yes, with an increased vegan or vegetarian population, the demand for soy products is also rising, it also means less meat is being consumed. And when it comes to soy, 77% of global soy is fed to livestock for meat and dairy production, whereas only 7% of soy is used directly for human food products such as tofu, soy milk, edamame beans, and tempeh. And as we have seen before, it takes a whole lot of feed to make 1 kilogram of any type of meat. So if that soy would be consumed directly by people, a whole lot less would be needed. Therefore, vegetarianism or veganism and their soy consumption being linked to increased deforestation is a complete misconception. The increase in soy crop we have seen is by no means driven by these meat substitutes, Instead, it is driven by the fact that we now have 3 times more cattle than we did 50 years ago. Looking at all this information from today, I think it is safe to say that when it comes to the environment, meat substitutes are definitely a win. With this topic having sparked such a large movement, especially in the Western world, it comes to no surprise that the market would react to the increasing demand for non-meat products. Thank you for watching Rebel Economics. I personally learned a lot by researching today's episode, so I hope you did too. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It really means a lot to us. And if you want more interesting economics content, then why not watch one of these videos right now? Again, thanks for watching and thank you for your support, and see you next time.